Tonight on To The Point, we discuss dementia, a condition that affects one's memory as well as the ability to perform physical activities. And with over 55 million people being affected globally, it is a conversation worth having. And that is part of what we have prepared for you tonight. But first, let's take a look at the highlights. Azimio Brigade demands the return of subsidies in the prices of basic commodities.
Hiyo yote imeletwa inapita hapo Mombasa bila kutoa ushuru. Lakini inauzwa katika soko ya hapa na bei ya juu kuliko yale ambayo imetengenezwa hapa kwetu.
As the president maintains he is focused on reviving the economy.
Because our nation lazima tuibadilishe kwa mipango, kwa miradi, kwa mambo ya maendeleo. Ndio mnaona tunashikana, tuko timu moja.
Today in a rare access, we bring inside details of the performance contract signed by cabinet secretaries last week. And on To The Point segment, we discuss dementia, a condition that affects over 55 million people globally. Just how is it like to care for such a patient? Welcome to the broadcast. We invite you to engage with us on our social media handles at TV47 News on Twitter, at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, and my personal handle on Twitter is at Grace Kuria KE. My name is Grace Kuria Kanjer, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Catherine Simaloy. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, President William Ruto has defended the Finance Act 2023, saying it is Kenya's best bet out of debt. Speaking during an interdenominational service at the Sagana State Lodge, the president said that he is focused on fixing the economy, which will remain his priority.
Day 2 of the president's working tour of Mount Kenya, an interdenominational Thanksgiving prayer at the Sagana State Lodge. The president thanking the region for political support in the last election, while assuring them of no plans to settle for any political deal with the opposition in the upcoming talks.
Ya kwanza ni kudhibiti uchumi wa taifa letu, to stabilize the economy of our country. Kwa sababu tulikuwa pahali hatari sana. Mahali madeni ilikuwa nyingi na mpango wa vile tutayasuluhisha hatukuwa nayo kikamilifu. Napenda kuwaeleza ya kwamba we have stabilized the economy of the Republic of Kenya.
These upcoming talks between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza attracting a range of opinions from his political allies, with support from some, hardline stances from others, and even skepticism from Senate Speaker Amason Kingi.
Today, Your Excellency, you're squeezing that boil. Watu watapiga kelele. Usiachilie. Watu wataandamana. Usiachilie. Watu watakutukana. Usiachilie. Paka ile moyo ya jipu itoke.
The leaders from the mountain calling for the completion of existing development projects and commitment to secure the interests of the region.
There are dams you have promised us, there's resources, we will be discussing them for the next couple of days. But other than that, their love and commitment to you is completely unconditional.
Had a plan to transform the economic fortunes of our people. And that is why we made that decision.
The president's visit and warm welcome adopting a large significance against the backdrop of public discontent over the cost of living and the recent unrest over the polarizing, deadly and destructive protests.
Ile kitu mimi nawauliza Wakenya wote ni kwamba hatuna taifa ingine. Taifa ambayo tuko nayo ni hii moja inaitwa Kenya. Na hatuwezi kukubali ya kwamba hii taifa letu iharibike. Sisi ni inchi, na ni vizuri niseme, sisi ni inchi ambayo tunafuata sheria.
It's day 2 of the president's Mount Kenya region tour, and right here at State House Lodge,
Sagana, the interdenominational prayer session and cabinet meetings as well as other political meetings were the order of the day. On a light note, plentiful was the RSVP politics, the rice and stew very plenty indeed, which was a campaign promise. But equally plentiful were calls, both moderate and hardline, to take extra care in the upcoming conversation between the government and the opposition. More importantly or specifically, calls against the handshake. We'll let you know more about what's happening here in the forthcoming days of the President's visit. Victor Moyakane coming to you from the State Lodge Sagana for TV47.
Right, Victor Moyakane, we shall be expecting more. Let's move on. Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga has called for the reinstatement of subsidies on the prices of basic products, arguing this would ease the yoke of the cost of living that a majority are grappling with. And with the talks between the two sides set to kick off in the coming week, Odinga has clarified his call for inclusivity in government, saying all he wants is to have Kenyans from all the 43 tribes get a slot. Let's get more from Moige William.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga was on a tour of Nyamira County, where he launched the Ngoko Chicken Project, which is expected to help chicken farmers increase their earnings. Odinga using the platform to ask the government to reinstate subsidies on the prices of basic commodities as a matter of urgency in a bid to address the high cost of living. President William Ruto, in his inaugural speech on September 13, 2022, announced the scrapping of fuel subsidy, terming it unsustainable, adding if the subsidy continued to the end of the financial year 2022-2023, it will cost taxpayers 280 billion shillings, equivalent to the entire national government development budget.
Wananchi walikuwa wamelia sana, gharama ya maisha imepanda juu, bei ya unga, bei ya mafuta, bei ya sukari, bei ya stima na kadhalika wakaikawa juu sana.
The opposition leader Odinga has now turned his guns to the Ruto regime, calling on the government to expeditiously address the cost of living, even as the matter is expected to dominate the Kenya Kwanza Azimio agreed talks. Odinga has threatened to call for protest even before the lapse of the one-month ultimatum issued by the Azimio side.
Maandamano iko ndani ya katiba yetu. Iko ndani ya sheria, ni halali.
Tukisema tunataka kuzungumzia mambo ya cost of living, anasema tukikaa kuzungumza mambo ya cost of living hatutaki kuongea.
Odinga has accused President Ruto of heading a corrupt government, pointing out some of the scandals reported in the almost a year-old government. The opposition leader at the same time refuting claims of a handshake with the head of state.
Bwana Gachagua na mtoto yake tunahusika na hii mambo ya wizi ya nini ya neti ya umbu. Hawa wanajulikana. Uliza Bwana Ruto alisema atatatua, hajatatua. Anafunika Bwana Gachagua, manake wanakula naye pamoja.
A week ago, Ruto and Raila agreed to each form a 5-member committee that will engage each other and end the current political stalemate in the country, with the previous talks in April and May breaking down as both sides accused each other of sabotage. Moige William, TV47.
Thank you, Moige William, for that. Now, the Archbishop of the Kenya Anglican Church, Jackson Ole Sapit, said Azimio and Kenya Kwanza leaders need to let go of their hardline positions even as they begin their talks. Now, speaking in ACK St. Andrew's Church in Thika, Sapit has criticized the leaders for engaging in politics months after the completion of the 2022 general elections. Further, the Archbishop has urged the leaders to put Kenyans' interest at heart, even as they negotiate a truce on the issues affecting them.
Kuanzia jana na juzi tumeanza kuona maneno na matamshi makali kwa virengo vyote viwili ambayo inatishia ile nafasi ambayo Wakenya walikuwa wameona kuna matumaini ya mazungumzo ili nchi iweze kupata maendeleo na iweze kuendelea kwa pamoja. Wito wangu kwa viongozi wa siasa wa nchi hii ni kwamba tuna nchi moja na ni ya Wakenya wote, si ya wachache, ni ya kila mmoja wetu. Na sio sisi tu tunayoishi sasa. Ni Kenya ambayo inangojea watoto ambao hawajazaliwa, na ni jukumu letu kuboresha kwa nafasi yetu na kuimarisha ili Kenya iweze kuwa Kenya bora kwa vizazi vijavyo, na watoto ambayo saa hii hawana uwezo wa kujamulia mambo yote.
Right. Now, cabinet secretaries and their PSs recently signed performance contracts as a commitment to deliver government promises to Kenyans. Now, tonight, TV47 brings you an insight of what some of the CSs are committing to deliver.
Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari William Samoei Ruto anakuwa kirasmi ndiye amiri jeshi mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi ya Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Close to a year after ascending to power after the 2022 elections, President William Ruto seems keen to keeping his house in order as he seeks to fulfill his bottom-up transformation agenda. To achieve this, all cabinet secretaries and their PSs have signed performance contracts entailing targets they will be needed to achieve for the next 1 year. According to the President, the contracts will ensure seriousness and accountability by cabinet secretaries who are keen in turning government's ideas into reality.
You are the PS or the minister. And the job of the minister and the PS you don't know, or you don't have information. How do you run a ministry or a department or a parastatal if you have no information?
An inside and rare access to the contracts, which are set to expire on the 30th of June 2024, show at least 6 main key performance indicators, which are meant to ensure that not only law policies and procedures are followed, but also financial prudence is prioritized. According to the documents, each CS is expected to make commitments on how to steer his or her ministry by ensuring financial stewardship, improving on service delivery, implementing presidential directives, ensuring affirmative action in procurement, and taking other cross-cutting measures to support government agendas. Under the financial stewardship, all CSs are required to ensure improved absorption of allocated funds, appropriation in aid, proper utilization of external mobilized funds, and reduce spending bill to 1% of allocated funds. The Ministry of Energy has several commitments, among them the promotion of use of LPG in learning institutions, where 3,920 public learning institutions are targeted in the next 5 years. 300 schools will benefit in this contract period. The Ministry of Agriculture will also improve on the distribution of subsidized fertilizer by registering more farmers, training input suppliers, and buying more fertilizers to target 4.5 million farmers. The National Treasury on its part plans to support access to finance by smallholder farmers and agribusiness MSMEs, promote health by utilizing the Global Fund for HIV, TB, and malaria intervention, ensure implementation of the digital superhighway, and develop policies to attain a 70-30 recurrent to development ratio. The Ministry of Roads also has several agendas, among them plans to improve on urban transport. To improve on the education sector, the ministry plans to digitize education services, improve on literacy and numeracy by ensuring free access to basic education, enhancing on participation of learners with special needs and disabilities by the end of the year. The ministry will have rolled out the prior learning program for the Jua Kali industries. These contracts were signed by the respective CSs and President William Ruto and will run until the 30th of June 2024.
Tumpongeze His Excellency.
Hibak Said for TV47.
Thank you, Hibak Said. Now, policy changes are underway to protect maize farmers from volatile price changes, especially during bumper harvests. National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula says the government will take notes from legislations passed to protect coffee farmers to structure systems to help struggling maize farmers against rampant exploitation by middlemen. A 2-kilo tin, popularly known as Gorogoro, which used to go for 200 shillings, is now less than half that price, as further reductions are expected with ongoing harvests in the Rift Valley region.
The government at the start of this planting season armed farmers with subsidized fertilizer, which were both crop and region specific. Farmers are now expecting bumper harvests as the season comes to a close, with the government predicting this to approximately 44 million bags, up from 32 million bags last year.
Ukitoka kule Naivasha mpaka wa Uganda, ile mahindi wa Kenya wamelima mwaka huu, tunasema hongera kwa wakulima wetu.
This is, however, causing plenty of worry from farmers who believe the reduced prices might hit their profits, especially with unscrupulous middlemen who demand to be added to the bargain.
Unaenda tu unalima kwa shamba bila kufikiria uliweka nguvu zako, umeweka mbegu, umelipa watu wale wanakusaidia. Tunataka bei ikuwe 150 shillings pa korokoro, sio 80 shillings zile mnauza sasa hivi.
Vijana wetu wawili wamesponsor bill ya kurekebisha ukulima, kuhifadhi na marketing ya mahindi. Mkiangalia Kenya mzima, kuna sheria inalinda kahawa, kuna sheria inalinda majani chai, kuna sheria inalinda korosho, hata kuna sheria sasa inalinda ndengu ile inapandwa kwa Wakamba. Sasa tukiwa na sheria, zamani tulikuwa na maize marketing board. Hiyo itasaidia mkulima.
The government says it's working on a win-win arrangement where Kenyans can enjoy reduced prices while farmers benefit from the production and labor costs they incur.
Na kila mkulima sasa mambo iko digital.
Furthermore, the Speaker says once the proposed bill gets a nod from Parliament, farmers can reap even more from the coming season with a reduction of fertilizer prices from 3,500 shillings to 2,500 shillings. Hibak Said for TV47.
Right, Hibak, thanks again. Now, police in Tasia in Embakasi East, Nairobi County have rescued a 9-year and 4-year-old children who had been locked in their house by house agents over rent arrears of Kenya shillings 7,900. And as Daniel Kihoro reports, residents in support of the women have condemned the act, terming it as inhumane and warrant action to be taken.
It is in Tasia area, Embakasi East constituency in Nairobi County, where an incidence of rogue real estate agents harassing tenants reared its ugly head again. These children, 9 years old Faith Cheptoo and 4 years old Titus Kipchumba, are in a state of shock after they were allegedly locked inside their rented house for almost 24 hours by the house agent over house rent arrears while their mother was away.
Mimi nilifungiwa nyumba na agents siku ya jana kwa rent ya ni 7,900. Nikafungiwa nyumba jana, wakabomoa kioo, wakaweka kifuli, wakatoa vitu zangu. Wakatoa vitu zote zenye ilibaki ndani ni ile kiti refu yenye ilikataa kutoka na double decker. Zote zikabebwa zikawekwa kwa store.
Night Patricia, the mother to 2 children and also who happens to be living with disabilities, narrates how her plea for more times to clear the rent arrears, considering that she has a sick husband, fell on deaf ears.
Niwichi nilikuwa hata hiyo siku na plaster kwa miguu. Hiyo pesa yake nilitumia, lakini mimi ndawalipe hii wiki. Wakasema hatutaki. Wakatoa vitu zangu. Niliwaambia nataka kalia deposit, wakasema hatutaki.
Peterson Kubaso, a worker in the county assembly, says that he received a message from one of the residents on the area, and that is when he took a step of reporting the matter to the police.
Kwa kusema ukweli, ni kwamba tuna encourage watu kulipa rent, lakini kwa kitendo kama hiki, kwa sababu mlalamishi ambao ni mama ambao sasa ni mlemavu na mzee wake akiwa kwa admitted hospital, na balance ya mwezi moja 7,000 kati ya 14,000 kila mwezi, na wako na deposit, haikufaa kwamba wafungie watoto kwa nyumba.
Residents from the area have condemned the act and asking the relevant authorities to rein in and punish the rogue estate agent who have become synonymous with harassing the tenants.
Okay, wale maagent wenye hizi manyumba, wale mmeandika hao maagent, muhakikisha kama wanafanya kazi mzuri. Ikiwa mtu amepeana pesa yake nusu, amepakisha nusu zi hati kumtoa, na mmetoa vitu yake, hata muuze hiyo vitu, itapita hiyo pesa mlitoa kwa nyumba. Sisi kama wakaaji wa hapa Tasha tumekasirika na hiyo chambo.
Daniel Kihoro reporting for TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Daniel Kihoro, for that. Now, the Kenya Bankers Association are advising the Monetary Policy Committee to maintain the current CRB rate of 10.5%, saying despite the drop in inflationary pressures, risks are imminent and inflation expectations remain elevated on account of the new tax measures in the Finance Act 2023. They say the ride out to the slow economic growth, this sector must keep rates at a constant for stability. The Monetary Policy Committee had raised the rate by 1 percentage point at an impromptu review when CBK Governor Dr. Kamau Thuge took over office, a move that shortly destabilized the banking sector. They say the external sector developments remain fragile on headwinds from the war in Ukraine, further tightening on the financial conditions in the global markets, and a sustained wide current account deficit that continues to fundamentally exert pressure on the exchange rate to weaken.